I started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
What the fuck is up, gamers? Welcome back to your favorite Sex and the City podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and this is my fail dog for my cringe competition dog show.
I'm your host, Alex, and pink with wait, no, I fucked it up already. Pink wig, thick ass, giving whiplash.
True. Good shit. God, I really thought that both of us were gonna, like, come in with, like, the dog name, and then neither of us brought the dog name.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't give a shit about, like, pedigree dogs. Fuck them.
This is true. The name was just very funny, which we'll get to later, but...
Yeah.
Not as funny as, like, a racehorse name, but still. So this is season 6, episode 16, Out of the Frying Pan, and we're, like, in the home stretch. This is, like, I think, like, the 5th last episode of the show.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was like, oh, we're really at endgame. Like, we're setting up. It's like in Game of Thrones where, like, the last season, I'm like, oh, we are setting up for a finish. Like, the puzzle pieces are moving very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is reaching their end arcs and we're going for it. We're going full hog.
Just like in Game of Thrones, I really can't wait till, like, the last scene where Carrie and Big are, like, standing together and they're, like, about to kiss, and then Carrie just slides a knife right into his gut.
That would be good. I can't wait for when Carrie suddenly turns evil and burns an entire city to the ground.
Suddenly?
Yeah, like, she's just like, I've decided I hate everyone and I'm crazy now.
Yeah.
And she burns New York to the ground with her dragon.
Yeah, she melts the Empire State Building, and it's a metaphor. Yeah.
I can't wait until Miranda is just like, guess I'll go exploring. And then, like, I don't know, Samantha is like Charlotte the Baron, and is like, let's all call this leader by the thing that is led, like, something they might be sensitive about. Fuck that, you know?
Yeah.
Remember how they just called him Bran the Broken, and Bran is just like, okay.
He's like, I don't have feelings anymore, so it's fine, because, yeah.
I don't have feelings, but let's make my entire, like, name about how the fact that I am disabled. Like, let's make my entire thing about that. Not that I'm, like, really smart and, like, I basically, like, a demigod at this point. No. I hate that show.
It's so bad. It's truly bad. And, like, if we went by Game of Thrones rules, then technically Carrie would be most well suited to be the like, monarch, right? Because, you know, stories are the most important thing and they tie us all together. And who has a better story than our storyteller, Carrie? So, you know.
Yeah, who has do you know what is important in a leader? Like, it's not compassion, it's not intelligence, it's stories and just, like, being cool and dope. So it's not like empathy for their citizens and, like, looking out for them and trying to avoid war and, like, keeping peace and, you know, who politically would probably keep the most people happy.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's have 2 northern leaders because people are going to be cool with that.
They're going to be cool with that, and they're especially going to be cool with the fact that he's, like, maybe 14 tops.
He's like, he's like a child.
It's
he's
normal.
a child and he's disabled, and this is like medieval fucking, like, fantasy, high fantasy world. So I guess everyone's, you know, as famously everyone is called disabled people in, like, this universe. So let's have Bran. No one will question it. No one will question it. It will be good because he has a good story. Anyway, welcome to post Sex and the City.
Well, yeah, where, you know, a full year after Game of Thrones ending, we're still feeling normal about it. Anyway, our, you know, hero, Carrie Bradshaw, we're back with her again, and
Yeah.
we're getting.
Do you remember how Jamie loved his sister?
Remember how he came full circle, and he still loved her at the end? Remember how bad that was?
Remember how when he hooked up with Brienne and like admitted his feelings for her, and then literally the night after he was like, psych.
I'm a bad person, actually. He said I'm Billie Eilish, bad guy, and left.
I'm the bad guy. Duh. And then he went back and he was like, he loved his sister.
And then a brick fell on him and he died.
Do you remember how he was literally like, Brienne, you're the best. Psych. I lied. Joke's on you. I love my sister.
Yeah. It's some good shit.
Oh my god.
So in Sex and the City,
yeah,
our other classic HBO show whose ending we famously, I was gonna say famously love as a joke, but it genuinely is such a better ending than Game of Thrones. Even if it's not a great ending, it's still like,
no,
it just leaves
it's genuine. It's like 75% good. If we're putting it on like the ending arcs of our main characters, it is 75% good, because maybe just like 60, I don't know. I'm still like torn with the Miranda thing. But most of them get like good endings. We have had a character arc. People have grown. There has been growth without veering wildly off center. That's good writing.
Although I feel kind of like Big and Carrie kind of parallel Jamie and Cersei at this point, because she starts the show and she's in love with Big in season 1. They go through all kinds of ups and downs. Then she's like, I don't love Big anymore. I love this other person who's definitely way better than Big. And then she's like, Big again. Psych. Yeah, so and then a brick falls on her. She dies.
Aiden is Brienne, and I guess, I don't know, Carrie losing that dog is like when Jamie lost his hand? Question mark.
I feel like that she would have to like lose her column or something. Maybe it was when her laptop broke. Yeah.
Our minds.
It's the exact same. Cinematic parallels. Yeah. If only she had like a season where she lived in a cage, but it's fine.
If only she had a season where she was in a cage and she was like
covered in shit.
Kind of sexy. But like still kind of sexy.
That was his sexiest season. I'm just saying season 2 and 3 is when Jamie was hottest. So
he's kind of hot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I feel like if I really thought about it, I could get like a full list of Sex and the City parallels to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
but Game of Thrones aside, we're back with Carrie, and I literally forget. Oh right, Petrovsky. I literally called him the Russian in my entire notes because she doesn't use his name in like most of the episodes, so like I just forgot it. But the Petrovsky's just like taking her around the world, I guess.
Well, by the world she means like different restaurants, because she's
right.
Like.
She literally was in Japan in that one.
No, she's talking about different restaurants. Or even, I guess, like, if I'm giving her a lot of credit, maybe he took her to, like, little, like like little Japan, or like, how there's like a Chinatown, and there's in different cities, like you have like little groups of immigrants and diaspora. I guess if I'm being really gracious, I can say that he took her to those places, which cool. But, like, no, I think he just took her to different restaurants. And she's like, oh, we went to Japan. We went to France. We're going to Korea tonight. And it's like, you're going to a Korean barbecue place.
Yeah. Like, it's good shit, but, like, you're just going places. Like, he's just not taking you to the same restaurant over and over again.
No, he's just taking you to, like, different restaurants with, like, different ethnic cuisines.
Yeah.
which is nice. But, you know, she's like, I'm dating a foreign man, so he's taking me to foreign restaurants. I'm learning so much. Aren't I special? I'm dating a man who's not American.
Yeah, it really is just like, wow, he's foreign, so he knows other things. Like, he... okay.
I guess.
I'm pretty sure we all know, like, where we can go for ramen if we want.
I think you're giving Americans a lot of credit there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
I don't know if they necessarily, like, know that. But, yeah, she's being a bit overdramatic about it. And then one day, she's, like, all glammed up. She kind of looks gorgeous. She's wearing this, like, I think it might be Vivienne Westwood top. And this like ruffled skirt, and she has all this pearls, and she looks gorgeous. And she comes down the stairs of her apartment, and she's like, "Oh, where are we going tonight?" Mm-hmm. And he says, "Oh, I thought we'd go somewhere closer to home. We won't need a cab. I think we can walk there." And she goes, "Oh," and he pulls out some groceries, and he's going to cook for her in her apartment.
Yep. Which she's kind of just like a little bit, not like mortified, but she's like, what? Hello?
Yeah, please warn me if you're going to come to my place.
I would want to know in advance if someone I was seeing was coming to my place, especially if it was for the first time. Although, like, they have been dating for a while now, so it's not like he doesn't know anything about her. And I don't know. I would want to know a little bit beforehand if someone was coming over.
Yeah, but I don't know. They go upstairs and he cooks dinner and she seems to enjoy it and they're having a nice time. But like she doesn't. So she doesn't have like she doesn't have kitchenware because she's like, I don't use my kitchen. And she also doesn't have like anywhere to actually eat in her apartment.
This is like, she plays it off like it's quirky, but it's just kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like, do you eat out all the time? Like, are you eating food? Like, it's really quite...
I don't know.
It's like, it's very, like, glamorizing. Like, oh, I don't eat. You know?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it makes it seem really impressive later in the episode when we see Charlotte, like, frying eggs.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, she fries eggs, she can cook, and she eats food. Like, it's not... I don't know. Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't know how to cook. Am I quirky? And so they're sitting at like a coffee table on the floor, eating dinner, and they're like, and I guess he's like, you are quirky, but like you should cook, you should eat food.
Yeah.
And then they go to the kitchen because he's like, oh, how about an espresso? And she goes, oh, where are we going? Because I don't have an espresso machine, which I think is rather normal.
That's normal, unless you're like I know lots of people who are like super into coffee for sure, who are like, yeah, totally normal if you do have one. But if you're not like caffeine addicted, I feel like it's not super uncommon to not. Like, we don't have an espresso machine. Like, I have a coffee maker, but that's it. So, like, if I want espresso, I mean, I don't. But if I did, I would just go to a coffee shop because I want it so infrequently, right?
Right. Like, I mentioned that I'm dating a guy who drinks espressos, and I remember I was like, oh, I like coffee, but like I usually just have like instant coffee. And he was like, oh my god, how could you drink instant coffee? Like, okay, fuck off, fucking you pretentious dickhead. Like, I am happy. I like coffee, but also I don't mind if my coffee tastes like fucking dirt. Like, I just want it black.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you. I just want an Americano. I don't give a shit. It can be from fucking McDonald's.
Yeah.
As long as it, like, I'm not fussed. I'm not pretentious about it. I'm not delicate.
It's truly so annoying when people are pretentious about coffee, when they're like, oh, you put cream or sugar in your coffee, and like, what's wrong with you? Do you not like its natural flavors? And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why is that a superiority thing for people? Like, I normally drink coffee black, but sometimes I'll put cream and sugar in it. But like, I completely understand why you would not want to drink coffee black. Like, some coffee tastes like shit and I have to put stuff in it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of, you know, like those like Starbucks Frappuccinos where it's like sugar, 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 cream, 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 and you can't taste the coffee.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point, I'm like, okay, why even bother putting coffee in this? Just have a milkshake. Like, just have a milkshake with some Red Bull in it, and you'll get the same effect.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's true.
But like, if someone just wants to have like a fucking latte and put a bit of sugar in it, why does that matter?
Yeah, because people are fucking assholes. They're just like, I'm gonna be a dick about. It's like people who like are super, super pretentious about like if you put your toilet paper with like the roll hanging down the wrong way, and they like act like it's a personality trait to care about that, and you're like, literally no one cares. I'm wiping my ass. Like,
I mean, I'd prefer it the other way, but also I feel like that's like a fucking Reddit thing. I feel like Reddit has ruined a generation, not to be dramatic, but when people like get so mad about really mundane things, it's like no one gives a shit.
Yeah, it's
no one cares.
It's
when it's
so
like,
dumb.
oh my god! There was this video that got like viral of this American woman trying to make like English tea, and she was doing it in an absolutely like butt fucking sane way.
What was she doing? How do you make tea the wrong way?
Well, she was like, I'm trying to remember now. I think she put in like cold water and then like microwaved it or something, and put like loads of milk in. She did it in a way which like is just like, why would you do that? I can't. Or you see a lot in the UK where people are like, if you put the milk in your tea first, you're a fucking criminal, which I get. Like, I get it. I get that it's weird, but also, I don't know. After the 5 seconds of this woman making the tea, like, I immediately forgot about it. I might have been like, oh, mom, did you see this weird video? But then, like, it doesn't bother me. I feel like people get so vexed about things which just don't matter. But something that does matter is the fact that when Alexander goes to make a cup of coffee in Carrie's kitchen, there's a mouse straight up on the counter. And he smacks it with the frying pan and kills it. And Carrie is freaking out, rather obviously. Like, I would freak out in this situation.
I would just be very startled to see a mouse.
Yeah, exactly. I would be upset. And also, there's now a dead mouse in my fucking kitchen. Like, I would cry. Because I cook there. I don't want a dead mouse. There was a dead rat in my garden, and I was like, I don't want to go outside until it's gone.
Yeah. It stressed me out that he didn't even like immediately sanitize it after like throwing it in the garbage. I was like, please wipe that counter down. That's so gross. But
get
like
the fucking bleach out.
Yeah, I would just feel really, I don't know, I would just feel really kind of like shaken up if I watched my boyfriend just kill an animal in front of me. Like, maybe I'm just sensitive, but like, I mean, first of all, I can't imagine Matt killing a mouse anyway, but because we watched the episode together and he was like, oh, cute.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if I'd be like, oh, cute if it's in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And like, it was very much just a reflex for him, which is understandable. It's not like he was like enjoying it. He was kind of very matter of fact about it, though. Carrie was like, you didn't have to kill it. And he's just kind of like, do you want a fucking mouse in your kitchen?
Yeah, it's like, it seems like a pretty normal reaction to have. It's not unusual or anything. It's just
it's not like it was premeditated or like he just did it out of reflex.
Yeah, he's
and
not
also
like,
I was just gonna say, like, he says like, oh, if there's one, there might be some other ones, and she doesn't like get a trap or anything.
She really doesn't do anything.
No, she doesn't do anything about it, which will come back to haunt her later.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like to see it because I don't like to watch, especially since like he's like, oh, it's a rodent, it's gross, and I'm just like, I own rodents. Like, I mean, they're guinea pigs, which is different, but like, I'm just like, I don't know, I don't want to watch a mouse get killed.
No. Like, my dad is terrified of mice, and there was a mouse in my garden a little while ago, and he was like, we need to get traps to kill it. Like he's terrified of mice.
Oh my god. If it was in your house, it's one thing, but if it's in the garden, it's like, they live outside.
Exactly. Me and my mum were like, they live outside, and she was like, yeah, I'll get some poison. And then she's like, I'm not getting any poison for this fucking rat. Like, its house is outside, our house is inside. If it was inside the house, that'd be a different like issue.
Yeah.
But that's why he lives outside. It's like, sharks are in water. What do you expect? Rats are outside. But yeah, I don't think it's. But I'd be so embarrassed if there was a fucking rat in my house and my boyfriend was around. You must think I would be like like there's some, like I'm like gross or something. Like that's what I would worry about. I'd be mortified.
Yeah, I would kind of wonder about that too. I'd be kind of like, does this make it seem like my place is just like really dirty and like uncared for and stuff? But especially since
he lives in like a really glamorous, like massive place. It's not just like, oh, he lives in another like shitty New York studio that's probably got rats in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, he's in a really glamorous, gorgeous place. So I would be a little bit embarrassed, but Carrie doesn't really seem to care about that so much.
No, which is like valid for her because, like, I mean, it really shouldn't matter. But like, no. I would personally have it on my mind.
Me too. Like, if I was in someone else's place, I'd be like, whatever, it's a city.
Yeah,
things happen.
Exactly.
But next scene is them in chemo with Sam, and they're having popsicles, and I guess telling her about it. And it's like really cute. It's really nice. I love to see people like with their friends, supporting their friends sort of through medical, like through health scares and stuff.
It's cute. I also am like, when did you guys get these popsicles? Like, first of all, it's like late fall at this point, but like they also were like, did you bring them from home? Are they like melted by now? But
Charlotte has like a little freezer. She has like a little, what are they called? Like the box. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking bimbo. The like
a freezer box thing.
Yeah, she has one of those. And then when the nurse comes, she's like, "Oh, you ladies enjoying those popsicles?" I know that with chemo, because like the nurse mentions as well, you can get like lesions in your mouth and stuff. So like cool foods are something that people, who are going through chemo can eat.
Okay.
So I maybe the hospital provided them, or
maybe,
like Charlotte brought them in the thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just like having a little kiki.
It's very cute. They're just hanging out having popsicles, and Miranda's like going to town, and Samantha's like, Steve's a lucky man.
She is like vacuum. She's like, when you're like vacuum seal the dick. Like she's doing that on this popsicle. It's a lot. But yeah, they're like, oh, Steve's a lucky man. And then they start talking a bit, and Sam says that she's feeling good about it, and she hasn't got any like lesions or anything, and she feels that she wants to be like healthy enough basically to go to Smith's premiere that's at the end of the week.
Yeah. Which is, everything seems good at this point, so that's nice. And yeah.
And then there was shopping with the Russian.
He takes her to a kitchen supply store for her very first time ever.
Yeah, this was worrying. I love going to a kitchen supply store.
Same. They're so good. There's so much good shit there.
Oh my god, you can find like the best shit there. You can find gadgets, and I will go and I will pester my mother and be like, we need to get this. I mean, oh my god, how many times are we like cutting strawberries and we're like, oh, we need a specified knife to cut off the strawberry tops. And she'll get it, and then we'll never use it.
Ah, so good. I love it. Like I walk into like a Stokes, and it's just like my fucking domestication level just shoots up by like 5. It's so
I'm
good.
like, I'm a housewife, hashtag trad wife. But also I'm like, everything needs to be silicone. I get very into it. And I love like homeware shit. I love going to IKEA.
Same.
Oh, it's so sexy. So they're going shopping, and they start talking. Like Carrie's talking about Samantha, and Alexandra is like, "Oh, yeah, your friend has breast cancer." And Carrie's like, "Yes," and he says, "My friend had breast cancer, and she died." And that's, I guess, our main conflict with Carrie this episode is like this conversation.
Yeah, so like he kind of just drops that really nonchalantly, and Carrie just kind of, at this point, she doesn't really say anything. She's kind of just like blankly staring ahead, like, okay, like taking it in and trying to process it.
And it's I mean, I guess we'll get into it. Like, he does say, I think the fact that he says it just so nonchalantly, and he says it like immediately as soon as she starts talking about Samantha's like cancer and stuff is very like he doesn't go into. At the end of the episode, he explains why he said it.
Yes.
But he doesn't really explain it here, which is probably what he should have done.
Yeah, he drops it. And, like, okay, like, at the best, it's like he's trying to just kind of stay grounded in reality about it, I guess. But it also just, I don't know. First of all, it's just also really annoying when you're talking about something really stressful that you're going through and someone else is like brings up how they relate to it and you're like, okay, shut the fuck up. Like, this isn't about you. Can you not talk about your thing right now? Mm-hmm. Like, even if it's similar, you don't need to talk about it. But like, it's also just really, like, if she said, oh, you know, like, there's a good chance she could die or something. And he was trying to be like, oh, you know, my friend passed and it was really hard for me. So like, I'm here for you. I understand. Like that would be one thing. But like Samantha she had stage 1. She had her lumpectomy and chemo just seems like it's a precaution at this point. So it's,
and she's with like one of the best doctors she can get. So she has a very good chance of being okay.
Yes.
And I guess, like you said, like it's one thing if he had said, I think it would be completely fair if he said, "Oh, I had a friend who had a similar type of cancer and she passed, so I know, you know, like I was with her, I supported her through this, so I know what you're going through, and unfortunately, my friend passed away." That is, you're sharing your story not in a way to like one up someone or be like, well, I know what you're going through. It's just you sharing that you've been in a similar situation, and that's fair enough. But he just sort of says it like so nonchalantly and very like a total downer. And Carrie is right that Samantha's chances are very good. But she also doesn't know what happened with his friend. You know. So it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's weird. And like he's not trying to one up her. He just is very much, I guess.
He's just being a man and is like, would you like advice or would you like me to tell you that I've been in a similar situation? Because that's it.
Yeah, he doesn't really. A lot of people just really don't understand how to comfort someone without inserting something else in that like is their thing. So
he's like, let me insert myself into this conversation.
You can just comfort someone and be like, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. Like that, it's really hard to have a friend with cancer.
Yeah, he's like, it's really hard to have a friend with cancer. I've been there, so I will be, you know. But that's not really what happens.
No.
No. Then we move on to Charlotte and Harry, and like she's cooking eggs in the morning. And she gets a phone call, and it's from their fertility doctor, and her eggs aren't viable. And it's the second time they've done IVF, and it's the second time that her eggs haven't been viable. And she wants to try it again.
IVF is so expensive. Like, I know that they're rich, but
they're rich as fuck.
I know this, but it still stresses me out so much because it's like, I just know how expensive it is. And it's like, oh, God. But I mean, I know that's what she really wants. So, I mean, if you're really rich and that's like the one thing you really want, I do understand spending that much money on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's very understandable, but it's Charlotte's really trying to be positive about it because she's like, I want to try it again. And it looks like she's really trying to kind of hold back tears here. And Harry's like, I just want to do whatever you want to do. And we can go give it another shot. And Charlotte decides she's going to go for a run to kind of like, I don't know, take her mind off of it.
Yeah, she wants to go for a run and just get out of the house, I guess. So she does. And she's running and like the voiceover is like, Charlotte was the like prom queen and she was number 1 in track, but the only thing she couldn't win at is the baby race, which like okay Carrie. And she runs past like a woman who's jogging with a pram and a baby in it, and it's a bit uncomfortable. She like runs past it as fast as she can. that's kind of the whole scene. I was like, as soon as this happened, I was like, oh no, there's gonna be a sad one. Because like, I don't know, this whole plot makes me want to scream. I want to see Charlotte happy for God damn it.
I know. She has Harry now at least, so that's good. But like, yeah, I mean, and plus we're in the final stretch of episodes now. So we do know it's like, okay, things are gonna come to a close with her story soon. So
yes.
That's good. And same with Miranda and Steve. Their story is kind of wrapping up at this point too, because they're married now, but like they're also in bed kind of realizing like, shit, we've lost our like entire room to the baby. Like our place is really not big enough for two of us and baby, so we need to start looking at other places. And they also have a dog.
Yeah, I guess this is confusing me. Well, because they got a dog together and then Steve kept the dog.
Right. Like I do remember that, but it's just like I forgot about it.
Now it's big dog. Yeah, it was like puppy before. I have to wonder though. I couldn't help but wonder. I'm so confused. Why is she like, oh, we're in the dining room? Like, did they move into Steve's place?
I don't know, because remember they moved all of Steve's stuff into her place.
Yeah, so why would they be in the dining room? Because she had a bedroom before and a dining room.
Well, because it sounded like the baby was like taking over her room. So like maybe she doesn't have a spare bedroom for the baby. I have no idea.
I don't know either. I'm very confused. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Why would the baby take over the room? He still just needs like a crib and like maybe a Moses basket or something.
Yeah, and she doesn't really seem like the kind of mom who's like, yes, I want the baby to just sleep in the same room as me until whatever. Like, because I know a lot of parents do keep their babies really close to them when they sleep, and that's totally normal, but Miranda doesn't seem like that kind of mother.
No, my mother was that kind of mother. I just slept in the same room as them. Mm-hmm. And like, but I don't know. It seems like Miranda's like, I want to get my fucking sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't understand it. But yeah, they're all cramped, and the dog is fighting her cat. Which maybe you should have thought about before you like, let's move in your dog with my cat. Like maybe we should let's consider this. Is your dog like good around cats or not? Because we need to talk about that before you move the fucking dog in with the cat.
This is true. I feel like Miranda had the cat when they originally got the puppy, although I guess the puppy like probably, I mean, it wasn't as big, so.
Yeah, so I guess the puppy is not familiar. Because if you got a puppy and you already had a cat, then the puppy will be like fine, you know.
Yeah.
You can train the puppy to be cool around the cat, but I guess they didn't really get to that. So they are fighting, which is not good. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the solution is to move into a bigger place. I feel like you need to either get rid of one, or you need to train the dog to not fucking try and eat the cat.
They really should train the dog better. Like literally, there's very few things that piss me off more than dog owners who like don't train their dogs, who don't don't put any effort into train their dogs, and then their dogs are just shitty around people. And it's like, that's your fault. Like, you can't just be like, oh, he's just like that. Like, train your dog. It's so frustrating.
My issue is like, let's have a fucking, because this is like a pretty big dog, and it's like, let's have this big ass fucking dog in like a tiny New York apartment where there's not going to be like a park nearby or anything. That doesn't seem very fair on the dog.
It does seem like a weird kind of building to have a dog in, yeah.
Yeah. Like, the cat is fine because you can't really let cats outside properly anyway.
Yeah. And Steve was, like, living in another apartment before this, too. So just, I mean, I know you can have dogs in apartments, but, like, generally, they're smaller dogs, I think.
They're, like smaller dogs. Like, maybe you have, like, a park nearby, which maybe they do have a park nearby because of Brady.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if this is like super dog safe, but whatever. And they're looking at apartments, and like Steve is like, "Oh, I just found one that looks perfect." Do you want to go over what he says?
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, Miranda, it's huge. This place is great. We got to look at it." And Miranda's like, takes a look, and she's like, "Steve, I told you to not look at that side of the paper. I am not a Brooklyn girl. I'm a Manhattan girl." And
this whole like her plot line of being like, ugh, Brooklyn is so weird to watch in 2020, where Brooklyn is like so gentrified and expensive.
Yeah, like, I don't understand this at all, especially since it's so easy to get to Brooklyn. Like, to get to Brooklyn from Manhattan does not take very long. It's not very difficult. She's treating it like it's this, like, completely separate, like, she's treating it like it's Jersey.
Yeah, it's like you said, let's move to New Jersey, which, yeah, that's a different fucking, like, that's a different state.
It's a different state. It's way further away.
Yeah, but it's just like, no, it's the same. It's still in the city. It's just further. It's just not Manhattan. She's like, Brooklyn, disgusting.
Yeah.
That's where the poor live.
Like, even of all the neighborhoods in New York, it's not even like one of the ones that's like you'd expect like a rich white woman in Manhattan to be like ugh about. Like,
it's not like it. I don't know what at the time what it was like.
Yeah.
I don't like. Maybe it still had a reputation of being sort of like working class. And God forbid ethnic, but I'm like, I don't know. It's and like Steve is like, I'm from Queens, and you're like me, and she's like, yeah, but you moved to Manhattan.
Yeah, I just truly don't get the Manhattan obsession.
It fucking sucks. And Miranda, you're not even from fucking. It's not like she's born and raised in Manhattan, and she's like, oh, that's a big jump for me. She's from like Connecticut or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, Brooklyn is very much still city life and all. Like, there, I mean, I don't know how much stuff was out there in like 2004 or whatever. I imagine still a lot, but
yeah, I imagine it was probably like starting to get gentrified at that point. Miranda is a gentrifier. Let's be real.
She is. I mean, they're very much like, oh, we can get this place for a lot cheaper and it's a lot bigger out there. Like, that's literally gentrification.
Yeah, Miranda, I mean, we did call out Mara Wilson for like shading Miranda, which unfairly. She should be shaded for being a gentrifier though.
Yeah. That is kind of like, like, I understand wanting to like get a place that's like bigger and being like, well, we can't afford to get one where we currently live, so we have to move like slightly further away. But like, it's like,
it's touchy. It's touchy.
Yeah.
And so. But she's like, she agrees to look at it and is like, she'll consider it. She'll at least have a look at it.
Yeah.
And then Carrie is with the Russian at his place and they're drinking espresso. And having a talk, I guess. They're like cutesy or whatever for a bit. And then she says, oh, okay, like, we need to talk about what you said the other day when we were looking for kitchen stuff and about, and he's like, oh, about your friend with cancer. And she's like, Samantha.
Like, she has a name.
She has a name. But then this is where Carrie loses me.
Really? Because I was okay, so I see both of their sides here, but I do feel like I was agreeing more with Carrie.
No, she loses me at this point because she isn't listening to him speak, right?
This is true. She's not listening to him at all.
She does the exact same thing that he does, because like he didn't name Samantha, right? She's like, she has a name, it's Samantha. But then when Alex is like, my friend, her name was Sophie, Carrie literally basically closes her eyes, puts her hands over her ears, and is like, la 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 la, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, okay, that was very insensitive because it was like at this point they could have resolved the entire plot of the episode by having an open conversation about it. For sure.
Exactly. And the whole time she's like, I don't want to have a conversation about it. I just want to be mad at you, which you're not going to get anywhere if you do that.
Yeah.
Because if she had said, which she starts off fine, where she's like, that upset me. This is the reason why it upset me. Fair, right? Because she says, that upset me. You know, you said that about your friend dying. It made me feel like you were telling me that my friend was going to die and you were trying to lower my spirits and to make me nervous about it. And it felt very like, I know you're blunt, but that was too far, which is true. But then he's trying to explain that like, oh, well, my friend Sophie, when she died, and like every time he tries to mention Sophie or death or anything, she freaks out.
Yeah.
And I'm also the type of person who feels, like I've mentioned before, being very, like, my family is rather, no, I don't want to say pro-death, but
yeah,
just
but they're
very
not
much.
pro-life,
And
so
we ain't pro-life. We are, so I guess by that by that reasoning, we are pro-death. But just
Petrovsky's just like Sophie claimed to be pro-life but died anyway, and
oh my
Carrie's
God.
like, don't say that.
But like, we're just very matter of fact of like, we will all die, and we should be very clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe Alexander is coming from that sort of point of view of like, well, if your friend's health is in a bad way, and maybe you should be honest with yourself that it could happen, right? I sort of saw him saying it from that point of view, like, you still should have that. And he, like, at the end of the episode, he says, like, when Sophie died, it caught me off guard. I don't want you to be caught off guard, basically.
Yeah.
So if you are in denial, if she is in denial anyway about Samantha's prognosis and diagnosis, she shouldn't be. She should be realistic about it.
Yeah.
If her health took the downturn, then
Yeah.
Carrie shouldn't pretend that Samantha's going to get any better, right, overnight.
Yeah.
Which I'm for. But yeah, he did say it too. He didn't say that. He didn't say that at the time. He just said, my friend died.
It seems like kind of just like a real lack of communication here, where it's kind of like, has Carrie communicated to him how early her cancer was and when they caught it, and like, has she communicated the full like medical everything about this? Because like, if so, it doesn't really seem like beneficial to bring it up. But like, because it just seems like such different situations. Like, it's like saying my friend has breast cancer and him being like, oh, well, my father died of prostate cancer. And it's like, that's not this, they're completely different diagnoses. Even if his friend had breast cancer too, but they can still be completely different diagnoses. So it's just like, I don't know how relevant it is. Yeah,
it might have still been caught at a different time, and like she had different doctors, and it was a different, like the medicine at the time might have been different than what it is now.
Yeah,
like it's still completely. It can be that they had two, and they did obviously have two different healthcare plans in place.
Yeah.
But also like, if he had just communicated a bit more, and maybe if they had this conversation immediately after it happened, of him sort of saying like, this is, and if he had just said, instead of just going, my friend had cancer and she died, that's literally what he said.
Yeah.
If he had said, oh, well, my friend had cancer and this is the stage they got it at and this is what happened to her and I was with her and it caught me off guard when she passed.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to be caught off guard too. If it does, it seems like Samantha is very in a good place right now, and she seems very as healthy as she can be, and she has the best doctor she can have. However, if it does take a downturn, you need to not be in denial. You need to be realistic about it, and to have that conversation with your friend and spend as much time with her as you can if she does go before she does go.
He's very brave instead.
Yeah, it is like extremely blunt, and then he moves on to start looking at like spatulas. So
it's very matter of fact, just very unemotional.
Yeah,
and I think part of it too isn't so much like the words he says, but like the way he delivers it. Because like, I don't know if he really understands just how close Samantha is to Carrie. It's not like, oh, my friend. Like, there's a huge difference between if I found out you had cancer and if I found out that, like, someone I went to high school who I talk to occasionally but don't, like, found out that they had cancer. Like, that's very different, right?
Because you might still say my friend, you know? And, like, you might just still, with people you're not very close to, like acquaintances, you might still say my friend. So yeah, I agree with you. He might not understand exactly how close they are. But I do kind of lose it with her when he's because he's trying to explain himself.
Yeah,
she is like,
she shuts it
I don't want to. I don't want to listen to it. She puts her hands over her ears and closes her eyes and is like, la la.
Yeah.
And then just leave. It's just like, you're not going to get anywhere if you do that.
Yeah, like, listen to what he has to say. Like, let him say his full piece without interrupting him. And then, if it still isn't really acceptable to how you feel, then you can still say what you want in return. But, like, at least let him say that. And, like, yeah. Because, like, he doesn't get a chance to expand on it at this point. But I guess we need the conflict to last the entire episode. So
we need the character to be like completely inconsiderate, or else it won't make sense. So
yeah, well, because then this part sucks too, because like after Carrie just tells him to stop bringing up his friend who died, he's like, I think you're being really childish, which I thought was pretty I don't know, I thought that was kind of insensitive of him. And then she's like, well, I think you're an asshole, I'm leaving, and she leaves. And it's just like, I don't know. I really feel like he shouldn't be calling her childish at this point. Like, I feel like he should say, can you just hear me out and let me finish what I have to say? Yeah. And I want to be on the same page as you, because, like, obviously you're going through a lot right now and you're already stressed out about your friend. The last thing I want is to continue stressing you out more about this. But no, he can't. He doesn't do that. So
yeah, it's a very, like, everyone's being a dick sort of moment to me. Yeah. But yeah, she storms out, and then Charlotte is jogging again. She's like, well, I guess she's sort of like stretching in the park. She's sitting down for a bit, and a little doggy comes over wearing a Burberry sweater. Little fashionista doggy. Hello.
It's a baby. I don't know what breed of dog this is, because dog breeds are fake, but
it's a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel.
Oh. So that doesn't mean anything to me. But
it's the dog with the flappy ears that kind of looks a bit like Carrie's hair at the moment.
Yeah, and it has like a sad face, like the sad puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, they do have like a face like a silent movie star. Yeah. You know? Where they're like looking up in the distance, like they look a little bit sad but still beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very pretty dog, and Charlotte is just like, "Oh, you're a baby, I love you." And she, like, the owner calls the dog over, and the dog's name is Princess Dandy Rich Brandywine.
Love her.
Incredible name. Brandywine is just like an extremely Hobbit name, so I love that.
I was gonna say it sounds like a house in the Reach. In like a Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Like the Brandywines. Yeah.
Extremely. But yeah, she brings the dog over to the owner, and the owner's just like, yep, this is my 2-time fail dog who did dog shows, but, you know, lost twice, and she just had so much potential, but she's just such a fucking loser. And Charlotte's like, oh, I love her.
She is like, this fucking dog sucks. And she's apparently like she has one leg that's like a little bit shorter than the others. This is the thing. I do watch dog shows. When Crufts is on, I will watch a bit of it because I like to see the dogs.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. I don't really understand how they like give them awards.
I don't know how it works.
I just know how it works.
Pretty. Dogs are just so good.
I just like to see the pretty dog, and I'm like, how did that? Because they'll do it, and I'll get mad and be like, how did the prettiest one not win?
I know, and I just love that how talented they are. Like, they can do so many cool things, and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. You're so much better than humans.
Go off, queen. Like, they're like, oh, look at me, I'm wearing a little outfit. Like, oh, my hair's cut beautifully. I love the poodles when they have their hair cut beautifully and they're doing that little wag with their tails and their little assholes are showing, and they're like, my asshole is out right now, but I'm still the prettiest, most glamorous bitch in the room.
Yeah, extremely. And they're right.
That's what the dogs, like, the dogs are walking like that. They're like, you can fully see my asshole. I'm a dog. And I'm still like better looking. I'm still gorgeous. I'm still beautiful. They have a lot of like charisma about them.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They they're beautiful, and this dog's beautiful. And she does have 2 other dogs as well, who I guess are probably her, like, favorites, because she's that kind of lady. But, yeah, for now, we just see that, you know, Charlotte really loves her, and the lady's like, okay, that's enough, time to go.
Yeah, that's like literally the scene. And then Miranda tries to go to Brooklyn. Well, this is like a 5-second scene. Miranda tries to go to Brooklyn, but the cabbie's like, I don't go to Brooklyn. And Miranda goes, huh, I don't either, and gets out of the cab.
Oh
and
my
like,
God,
that's
it's so stupid. Okay, first of all, like, okay, I don't know how much things have changed, but I'm pretty sure you can absolutely do that now. Okay, it may have been an Uber, but I definitely took some form of like Uber or cab from both New York airports to Brooklyn like a year ago. So like you can do it for sure. And the airports are like out of Manhattan too. So it's not like they're like, I don't know. Regardless, you can fucking do it. I don't know what's wrong with her. Also, just take the subway, you bitch. Like,
I was like, take the fucking subway then.
Yeah, I
like,
don't understand.
Even if it's like convoluted, because that's like weirdly, I don't know, like my ends of London. Like if I want to get slightly south of where I am, like I have to go into Central and then back out again, so it's annoying.
Yeah,
but just get the fucking subway. Just get the subway. Or wait for another cab. Like, I'm sure there's another cab. Or call a cab company specifically. Yeah. If, like, because maybe the ones you're, like, picking up in the street won't go that far. And they kind of want to stick in the area. But then call a cab company specifically. And they'll probably go, okay, cool. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's stupid.
It's very stupid.
The next scene is kind of a doozy.
Yeah, so Samantha and Smith are like doing sexy stuff. They're like gonna have sex, but then
she's giving him a blowjob.
Well, yeah, but then she pulls out some of he pulls out some of her hair, like a clump of her hair. Yeah. And he's just like, oh shit, and then Samantha's like, oh, it's fine, it's normal, and then he loses his erection. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go take a bath.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a scene. And then Samantha, we see in the next scene, is with Miranda, and they're talking.
Well, it's Carrie and Miranda.
It's Carrie. Carrie and Miranda are talking about the Samantha hair thing. And Carrie's just like, Samantha lost some of her hair at, like, the worst time. And Miranda's like, what, at work? And fucking Carrie's like, well, she wasn't at work, but she was about to do a job.
The way Carrie is talking about this, like, it's like gossip. It's wild to me. Like, Samantha was probably laughing at it a bit, I guess, because it seems like the type of thing Samantha would do is sort of like laugh, like sort of self-deprecatingly laugh at it.
Yeah.
Or seeing the funny side of it, at least. But, like, the way Carrie is like, Samantha lost her hair. Like, she's going chemo.
Yeah. It's definitely, like, very weird to just talk about behind Samantha's back.
It's weird
when she's not
like,
there.
Kiki about it. Like, oh, she lost her hair giving a blowjob.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably very embarrassing for her. And she's also started to lose her hair, which is, like, a sensitive thing that happens. Like, I don't know. It's not that funny, but it's just the way Carrie says it. Yeah. Again, was a black check against her name for me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. And then she brings up the Russian and their whole thing, and Miranda's like, maybe it's a language barrier between the two of you. Yeah. And I don't know, they barely talk about it. Carrie's just like, well, it sure is a barrier. And
yeah, like, they don't really talk about it. It's just like, that happened, I guess. And then Miranda does mention Brooklyn, and then Carrie is like, no.
Yeah, she's like, that I cannot handle. And God, I really hate it when, like, you're considering doing a thing that you're already just kind of apprehensive about, but, like, maybe it is better for you to do, and then your friends are just like, oh, that's awful, no, like, you shouldn't do that. And it's just like, okay, chill. Like, can you at least be supportive of me if that is what I choose to do? Like,
did I ask for your opinion on it?
like literally, yeah.
If I ask for your opinion on it and you're like, I don't think so, fine.
Yeah.
But did I ask?
Like, she's treating it like Miranda is considering moving to, like, Canada or something. Like
if Miranda was like, I'm going to move to Idaho,
yeah,
then you'd probably
weird.
you'd be like, no, don't do that. But she is just like, I'm thinking maybe about moving to Brooklyn, which would probably be better for a kid to like not grow up right in the middle of the city and have grass and shit, that children need.
Mm-hmm. Like a lot more stuff that the kid can do out there and not be like in the middle of like the Manhattan. Like, what's a kid gonna do in Manhattan?
Like, where is he gonna play? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely parks and shit, but it's just like
you're not gonna let him like go out by himself and be like, oh yeah, you can just go out to the park with your friends. Like, no, fucking, it's the middle of Manhattan. You ain't going out past like if you are coming, you're going to school and you are coming home.
And it's like, it's not to say that you have to raise kids in the suburbs or anything. Like, you can raise kids in a city. It's just like, I don't know. It's not ideal. Yeah.
No, you can obviously raise kids in the city, and like I have a lot of friends who are raised in the city, and I wouldn't be against raising my own kids in the city. It's just like, I don't know, wanting your kid to have a back garden is not a bad thing, and also it's not like they're in the proper suburbs, like they're in Brooklyn. He'll still be able to get into once he's like a teenager and stuff, he can go into the city. Like, he will still have a city upbringing. He'll still say, I'm from New York.
Yeah. And it's very much also just like their place clearly isn't really equipped for like the three of them, even when he's a baby. It's not like an ideal place.
No, their place isn't child friendly at all. Like, if like for a baby, like whatever, a baby just needs a roof and food and warmth. But for a child, like, he can't really. The apartment is not big enough for him to play in, and there's not really like an outside part, and there's lots of cars and stuff. So it's not really that safe for him. And like, if they have the money and they can afford to, buying a bigger place is not an inherently wrong thing to do.
Yeah, especially now that they have like when Miranda bought this place, that was on her own income. Yeah. Now they have like a combined income between the two of them. So it's kind of like, well, if it's more people than Miranda who originally moved in there, then it's completely reasonable for you to want to be in a different place than you were then.
Yeah, so. Yeah, exactly. And they have pets and stuff as well. Like, it'd be better for everyone, really.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get our question.
We do. She's just like, Carrie's just typing her question, and this week it's about denial. And she says, is it a friend or a foe?
I don't really think most people are like, do you know what? Living in denial is good.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Egypt and you're a crocodile.
Do crocodiles live in the Nile?
They used to. I don't know if they still do. They definitely used to.
Yeah,
I think they were on like hieroglyphics and shit. They were 100% in the Prince of Egypt. So that was
true. That's canon.
That was
fact.
That was factual.
That is real. So confirmed.
Confirmed.
Yeah, denial. Is it a friend or a foe? I feel like in general, I definitely see that there's a benefit to living in some ways with like glass half full. And I definitely try to be more of a realistic person instead of like a pessimist. Like, and I don't know, optimistic when I can be. But like, I don't know. I feel like you can be optimistic without being in denial also.
Yeah. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Like, that's the kind of way, I guess. And I feel like that's the way to kind of live, is if you hope for the best and expect the best, but also quietly prepare for the worst, the worst sort of thing that can happen. And I'm with you. Like, I try and be realistic or optimistic if I can be. If I have no chance, I will be a pessimist about it. But I don't feel like denial to me is very specific. Denial is when, to me, the truth and you are purposely or at least subconsciously ignoring that as opposed to just being optimistic about something.
Yeah, and I do think that just, I mean, I guess it really depends on the specific scenario, but there's like a lot of scenarios where it is just something like, I don't like, for example, with COVID, it's like there's lots of people who are just straight up in denial about how bad it is. And like in some cases, it's definitely a coping mechanism because maybe you're an essential worker and like the only way you can deal with how bad it is if you just don't think about how bad it is. And I definitely understand something like that. And then there's other cases kind of where it's like maybe other people are actually affected by something. And so like living in denial about it is like if you're just like, oh yeah, no, racism doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to live in denial about it because the world is better for me if I pretend it doesn't exist. It's kind of like, well, maybe it is better for you if you pretend, but that's nice for only you. So it doesn't help anyone.
Like, when I feel like people are in denial, it's like, no, there is factual proof that defeats what you think, you know? Because people be like, well, like, I guess we're talking about like COVID where people are like, it's fine, you know, I'll be all right. Like, I don't need to distance. Let me go have a massive party with my friends. And it's like, okay,
that's just brutal. Yeah, that kills me.
That is, you are living in denial. There is
and hurting other people. Yeah,
and hurting other people. Like, that's stupid. If you're, I mean, I feel like, we all have a bit, in that sense, I feel like we all have a bit of denial about it because otherwise you go into like doom mode.
Yeah,
you know?
If you become complete doomer about it, then it's just like so bleak you can't think about tomorrow. And I definitely understand trying to avoid the complete pessimism about it.
Yeah,
but you have to have a level of realism.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sort of like on the realist, maybe going more towards optimist thing of like, well, if I do everything I need to do, if I, you know, wash my hands, keep my distance, wear my mask, I can still sort of like wave to my friend in a public place and like keep my distance and at least like talk to them face to face, even though I guess we're not really seeing each other's faces. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, let's go to a restaurant.
Yeah, you're not being like, would you like to go to brunch with me? Because, like, that is just straight up, like, people who are being... Okay, the true denial is the people who are like, we're having a socially distant brunch. And I'm like, that is not a thing. I don't care if you're outside. I do not care if you're on a patio. There is no such thing as a socially distanced brunch unless... you are having brunch on your, like, back porch, on a laptop, video chatting your friend having brunch on their porch with a laptop. That is the only way you can have a socially distanced brunch. Like,
they're just like, we are having brunch. I'm like, you are having brunch. Cool.
That's
whatever.
not socially
like,
distant. I don't understand.
I've seen people and they're like, oh, we're having a socially distanced, just having a socially distanced meeting with my friends. And then they're like laying on top of each other and hugging the whole time. And I'm like, that's not, you're just outside. Just say you're outside. Like, whatever, you know? I can't go back in time and stop you from doing that.
Yeah. But you can at least make people feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's true. I can't go back in time and stop you from doing it, but I can, like, judge you about it.
Yeah.
Which I will be doing.
Yeah, and maybe prevent you from doing it in the future because you realize that your denial is being an asshole and not just, like, you know, making it easier for yourself to cope. So.
Some of us, I need to make it about myself to cope. Some of us, spit in our friends' mouths to cope. I had a fucking friend, or I'd say friend, again, this is not someone who is my actual friend, who was like, posted a thing on Instagram and they were like, apparently I'm not wearing my mask properly. And they had it below their nose. And like, I've posted stuff on my Instagram story and like saying like, this is how you wear your mask. And if you don't wear your mask like that, you're a disgusting plague rat. And I said, yeah, you need to cover your nose. And she was like, oh, but it makes it hard to breathe. Like,
have you seen that one video of the guy who's like, I ran like a mile and smoked a pack of cigarettes or something like that? Or no, I don't even remember what it was. But it was like, I did this all wearing like multiple masks or something like that, and I didn't die. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And like all the nurses and stuff, like, it's hard to breathe. And then like all the medical professionals wearing a mask like for like 12 hours a day. They don't want to do it, honey.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god.
just fucking like, come on. Like, you're living in, and it doesn't make it hard to breathe. You're not losing any fucking oxygen. Like, it's a slight discomfort. And fuck you, you don't even have to wear glasses, motherfucker. Like,
oh my god. Yeah.
ugh, the fog is real. The fog is real, but I still wear my mask.
Yeah, it's people are just ridiculous. But yeah, so denial, probably bad. That's the answer to your question, Carrie. Yeah.
It's not good, especially if you're harming other people at the same time. Fuck that.
Yeah. Exactly.
It sucks. Anyway.
Yeah, we go to Harry next.
Yeah, we have to have our little fucking, we have to have like at least one COVID rant episode, I guess.
Yeah, that's just the times. That's what 2020 is like.
Yeah. Yeah, we go to Harry and Charlotte's like, what you doing? And he's researching adoption. And Charlotte's like a bit hurt by it, I guess. And
she's hurt, but like she tries to not show it on her face. Yeah. But you can still tell because she's like, that sounds like a good idea. And she says it in such a way that it's like, you can tell that this isn't really what she wants at the moment, but like she knows that like she has to kind of keep her spirits up, I guess. So
yeah, she's still sort of hopeful, I guess, that that they can have a biological child together. But
yeah. And well, Harry's kind of just like, this could be like a backup situation. You never know. Like, we'll be on some lists and we'll have options, basically. And so, yeah, Charlotte is like, this is something that she's not going to disagree with Harry about it because she's like, okay, that's good. But she definitely needs to like take a breather about it.
Yeah, she needs to take a breather. And yeah, she goes for another run, and this is where she sees the dogs and Trudy Stork, and who's like the dog owner, I guess. And she sees them again, and she sits with them, and like Princess comes up and like sits on Charlotte's lap, and she's like, "Oh, baby, little," and then Trudy's like, "Ugh, I don't fucking even like that one," and Charlotte. Well, I shouldn't say that, but Charlotte has like a breakdown, I guess, and she says just because she's not a winner and just because she's not perfect doesn't mean she's not lovable and she doesn't deserve love, and I guess has a breakthrough.
Yeah, and she starts like crying.
Yeah, she starts like crying. You can I don't even know what she said because she is like crying.
Yeah.
And I guess she sort of has a breakthrough of like, oh, she's saying the stuff about herself, really, that just because she isn't the perfect, I guess, the perfect like wife and mother at the moment, that doesn't mean that she's not doesn't deserve to be loved and isn't a good person and everything. And Trudy's kind of shocked by it, and then that's kind of where the scene ends.
Yeah, she also mentions that she's like, oh, I can't have a baby.
Yeah, she's like, I can't
stranger.
have children. Yeah. Which is, yeah, she's like, a lot of info is coming out for this woman who is just trying to just walk her dogs.
Yep. And then we go to Samantha and Carrie, who are looking at wigs. And so Samantha's trying some on. And she, the first one, even before Carrie said it, I was like, you look like the fucking Brady Bunch mother. And Carrie's like, you look like Florence Henderson. And I was like, thank you.
Exactly. It's the Florence Henderson cut. I jokingly the other day said to my mum, because she is like, I have to get my hair cut. And like, if I cut it, I did cut her hair once and it was awful.
Yeah.
So she kind of needed to, and she puts on this wig. Well, first, like the wig maestro, I guess, he's like, would you like acrylic or natural hair? And Samantha says, do I look like an acrylic woman to you? And she tries on. Sorry, so I don't wear wigs. I have friends that wear wigs, obviously. But I love a wig transformation YouTube video. Wonderful. So I was there and I was like, oh, you don't want a hard front, you need a lace front, um, and you need like to zhuzh it. And I was like acting as if I know these wigs, but also at the same time, I don't know. This wig shop she goes to, uh, pff, go. That's not the wig. You want to go somewhere that is made for people that wear wigs on the reg.
Yeah, it like they had a lot of wigs at this place, but it kind of seemed like he was like, "Yeah, I've got like two options that are like these are my best ones," and she's like, "No and no."
No, and they all like all the wigs have like names. He's like, "This is Candy," and Samantha is like, "I don't want to wear a wig that's named after a stripper." Which I'm like, "Hey, sex worker names. I don't know why that has anything to do with wigs.
Yeah.
Sex backbone of our society. Don't diss strippers, but Candy is not maybe not the best name for a wig. But I'm like, go to like a black wig store or like even a Hasidic neighborhood. But people like cultures that wear wigs regularly, you'll get yourself a good wig.
Yeah.
But this feels very like a theater wig store, which theater wigs are different to wigs you wear regularly every day.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
And, like, she's not finding anything she likes here, and it's like, well,
go to a different store. There are plenty of. You're in New York. How many fucking wig shops do you think there are?
There's got to be a lot, and surely she could easily find out like what would be the best one to go to with her connections, but
yeah, I don't know. And like, I guess it depends. I guess she wants it more for the premiere, so maybe she can get away with buying like a more theatrical one, which she does later on. Yeah. But if you want a wig to wear regularly, I don't know if this is a place you want to go because they literally have like 2 natural hair wigs.
Yeah, and that's it. And one of them is like brunette. So
both of them are awful. They're very like Raquel Welch wigs.
Yeah, they're not good.
No, they're old ladies buy wigs. It's that kind of wig store. It's the type of wig store when like, your grandma or your aunt buys a wig because she doesn't want to be bothered to do her hair anymore. And they're like the Raquel Welch, like shake, like you put it out of the bag and you put it straight on.
Yeah. I do love the idea that putting a wig on would be easier than doing your hair. Like, I guess it depends on what kind of texture of hair you have, of course. But like, I'm imagining like when you say like if your aunt, I'm like imagining my own aunt, and I'm like, yeah, no, her hair would just be like, she doesn't do anything to her hair in the first place, so it's like it's not like she's even styling it to begin with. But
it's like buying a wig that is the same as your hair when you don't want to do, which I have considered doing. Just buying a wig that looks like my actual hair and wearing it.
Yeah.
But that is for no reason, just for fun. But do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, the woman who's like, one of the wigs looks like the woman who's like, excuse me?
Yeah.
The wig she's wearing in that. Like, it's just like, let me get this, like, a celebrity branded wig, take it out of the box, give it a little shake, put it on my head, and we're done. As opposed to like, I'm gonna buy a wig and then style it myself and wear it and then like have my hair underneath, either for protective or religious or personal purposes, whatever reason you want to wear one. That's your business. But I would suggest for anyone, get a lace front because that will look a bit more natural. And these are like hard front, just like wigs, theater wigs.
Yeah, very much so.
Which close up are not going to pass inspection.
Yeah, not really. Which, like, I'm just thinking about like Game of Thrones parallels with Sex and the City now, and they both are just like, wow, you're in the final season and there's a bad wig.
Smith and Samantha do kind of look twinny because they're both blondes, and like blonde couples are kind of. If both of you are blonde and you're a couple, it's disgusting.
It's true.
It's not great.
Yeah, it is always weird to me when people can like get mistaken as siblings with their partner. And it's like, I know you don't choose that and like how your partner looks, but like I'm just really grateful that no one would ever think that Matt and I are siblings. Like it's just
that's why interracial relationships are the way forward, because that will never happen.
Right?
Unless people like you're adopted, which I guess is a weird leap to make.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. Yes, they look too close, but
yeah. It's yeah. So they go wig shopping, all the wigs are awful, and then Sam and Carrie go for like, I guess, lunch afterwards. They talk. And Sam is sort of saying that she doesn't want to look sick. And she's being very honest, and she's like, I don't want to look sick. I just want to look happy and healthy and go to my boyfriend's premiere and support him.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. That's why she doesn't want to have a wig that she wants to get a wig that is like her hair as is, or she wants to get a wig that looks like her hair, but that's not how it works. So she's disappointed about it. And she also says to Carrie that she knows that she could die. And Carrie's like, no, you'll be fine. And Samantha is saying, no, you need to listen to me. And you need to let me be afraid.
Yeah, this is kind of where Carrie finally gets confronted about the fact that, like, maybe being in denial isn't really the best way she should be acting about this. And because, like, the way Samantha approaches it is much more humane than the way the Russian approaches it.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense to Carrie this way. And, like, she finally does come to terms with the fact that, like, okay, this is what you want. And maybe part of her was like, Samantha doesn't think she could die, so why I don't want to think that she could. Maybe that's part of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess it's like Carrie also says, like, we need to be strong for her. We need to be the strong ones. So if Carrie is starting to worry that she could die, then maybe that, like, Samantha will hear that and she'll give up. But I think I get it, but also Samantha is right. Like, she needs to listen to her and to accept that Samantha is afraid and not just like pass it off as like, you'll be fine, because she is afraid. And, it's something that is serious. It's not, do you know what I mean? It's not something small. It's a fucking massive thing. So yeah, she needs to actually listen to her when she's talking about this.
For sure. Yeah. And it's nice to see Carrie realize this finally.
She has a realization. She thinks 2016 is the year about realizing things. And she realizes things. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And in fact, it sure was.
It feels like 20 years ago, but 2016 really was the year of realizing things.
Yeah, that year fucking sucked.
This is the year of realizing things part 2.
Yeah.
I feel like this is 2016, the sequel.
I mean, it kind of is if you're living in the United States. But,
yeah, it's like time to out there. That's true. Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was mean to Americans earlier. You guys you got a tough one. You're having a tough one. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just kind of like, yeah, fuck it. It really is. But yeah, so Samantha decides that she's going to shave her head. And honestly, she should have she starts shaving it and she gets one thing done basically. And then Smith comes home and I'm like, what if she just left it like this? Like, what if she was Samantha Undercut?
She has this bisexual undercut going on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a look.
Yeah. And it would have been really good. What if she was Sam Undertale?
What if she was Sam Undertale?
Yeah.
But she shaves it and Smith comes home and he's like, what are you doing? And she has her hand over her shaved head and she's like, oh, nothing. And then he sees that obviously there's a razor and hair on the fucking sink.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, seriously, what are you doing? And she says, I was shaving my head because her hair was falling out and she wanted to take control of the situation. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't. So apparently she texted and said, I'm not going to the premiere anymore, and he immediately went to her apartment, and he's like, you're coming with me. I don't give a shit. And he king shit right here though.
I literally wrote that in my notes. I literally wrote king shit in my notes.
King shit. This is the sexiest, like the fucking boyfriend gold right here, right?
Yeah.
Smith is truly the king. Like Smith and Harry, you could have two kings.
Two bald kings.
Bald king, well, yeah. Bald king, buzzcut king, because Smith takes the fucking razor, turns it on, and starts shaving his head. And Sam is like, no, your hair is your thing, because he has the floppy, like, Chad Michael Murray hair.
Yeah.
He's very Chad Michael Murray. And she is like, no, your hair's your thing. You can't do that. And he's like, well, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I'm going to shave you too.
Yeah. It's good. I love it. He's just like, I'm supporting you no matter what. I don't give a shit. Yeah. It's good.
He's like, let me support you.
Yeah.
Let me love you. And she you love to see it.
You love to see it. And then we see Miranda and Steve, and they're touring the place in Brooklyn, and Steve's just like, oh, this room we could have our friends over, and Miranda's like, we're not gonna have our friends coming over because they're not gonna come to Brooklyn. And I'm just like, pretty sure they would suck it up to visit you. Like,
yeah, I'm like, and you have this, as my friends would say, fat house. Like, come on.
Yeah, like it's good. Like this place is pretty big. Like it's very high, like the high ceilings, like brick wall, just like it needs some work a little bit, but like it's pretty nice.
The bones are good.
Yes.
It has good bones. And so yeah, they're looking over the place, and Miranda's still, I guess, hesitant about it, and like Steve's trying to talk it up, and he goes outside for a bit, and like he's swinging Brady around in the garden, and the dog's like bouncing up and down, is all happy, and Miranda realizes that like it would be best for her family. So she says to, I guess, the owner or whatever, she's like, I need to have an engineer come and look at the place. If that fireplace isn't up to code, then we need it replaced. And she gets negotiating.
She is negotiating. She's interested. It's very good. It's really cute, even though it's kind of weird that Steve can like pick up and swing around like an 18-year-old child, but
this full-grown man. His baby is like the same size as him.
But I also love that at this point, like Steve's like, it's not just about you anymore, Miranda. It's also about Brady and Fatty and Scout. And I'm just like, wait, Fatty's the cat's actual name?
That wasn't just cat. Like her being mean as like you are to cats, I guess. No.
I don't know. I mean, like we're like, oh, our fat sons, we love you so much, to like Licker and Nanu.
I guess fat is just a descriptor as well. So like, you know.
Yeah.
But no, his name is Fatty, I guess.
That's his name, I guess.
That's his name. That's his Christian name. Like they christened him, and his name is Fatty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so after that,
pink
wig. So it's the premiere, but it's for the Gus Van Sant movie. Like the shooting of this, and then the premiere was so fucking quick.
Yeah, I mean, he shot this like at the beginning of season 6, so like maybe we can assume it's been like half a year, 2/3 of a year. It's still short, but like I don't know how far into the production of the movie like he came into it, I guess.
I don't know if maybe he just did like right at the end, and he did like a couple scenes, and then that was it. And I guess there are like no reshoots or anything, but okay.
Yeah, but sure. And yeah, she's got a pink wig on, and she looks fucking good as hell. It's so good. And Sam Smith's just like got the buzz cut, and I'm just like, I'm so proud of you and love you for doing this for her, but you looked so much better before, just for me personally.
I don't know, he has like a kind of like a like a Brad Pitt vibe to him. Remember when Brad Pitt had that shaved head?
Yeah, I didn't like that either. The thing is, I just like don't like it's a good look for some people for sure that like people have a preference. My personal preference is I really dislike to see men with buzz cuts or really short hair. It's not an attractive look for me.
Yeah, I'm like, are you joining the fucking army? Like,
It
give me
does
the
remind me of that. Yeah.
the long floppy boy hairs. Like, oh,
Floppy.
that boy.
There's gotta be something to play with. This is like I don't know. I love to see a hair just do like an uncontrolled swoop. And your hair can't do that if it's a buzz cut.
You know when guys like put their like fingers through their hair and the hair kind of like swoops back.
Yeah, like that's
and it's
good
like,
shit to me.
Let me run my fingers through your hair. I don't know. I do like a boy with like a medium to a long hair. That's sexy. But I don't know. I feel like some guys can pull off the buzz cut. Like sometimes
that's
it's hot.
true. And like I wouldn't change anything about this episode because I think that like it's super good what he does, and it's great for the episode. So it's like, yeah, you're great. You're like the most valid character this episode.
And especially as like his hair is part of his image as like as a celebrity and as an actor. Yeah. So to change it is like change it very rashly is like a big thing for him. Yeah. But also I'm like Sam in this pink wig, she looks amazing. And the voiceover is like Carrie saying that Samantha knew that she wouldn't be the same person she was before her diagnosis. So she's going to be a different person after she gets the all clear. And for tonight, she's going to be Little Kim.
Fucking exactly. It's good shit.
Yes, I wish she had the shell over the boob.
Ooh, that would have been really good.
Yeah, for a real Little Kim vibe.
Yeah. Ah, that'd be so good. Yeah. But yeah, either way, it was a great scene. So I do love to see them both.
Me too.
And that's their story for the episode. So Miranda and Samantha are done. So then we have to wrap up Charlotte's story now. So Charlotte is at home in her place, and she gets a special delivery, and it's the puppies.
From the store. Puppy. And it's in a basket. And it says, from Trudy Stork, do you get it? Like a baby. Storks give babies. And he is baby. She is baby. And obviously Charlotte is screaming. She's like, oh my God, I got a free fucking pedigree puppy as well.
Yeah, no shit, because this is probably a pretty expensive dog.
This is an expensive fucking dog, and she just gives it to her because she cried, which I need to do that. I need to cry in front of people, rich people, and be like, I'm really and then they give me stuff. If they just give me free shit for crying in front of them, then I can cry on cue, bitch. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But she gets the puppy, and Harry is instead of being I don't want a dog, he's like, who is this? Who is this? Hello.
Yeah, and Charlotte's like, oh, this is Princess Dandy Ridge Brandywine, and he's like, well, we can't call her that. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, well, you can call a dog anything, but
yeah, I mean, I know someone who has a pedigree dog, so she has a fucking stupid name, but then they just call her something else. You can just do that. It's a dog, whatever. Yeah. You just give it food. Give it enough food and it'll do whatever you want. It's a dog. And he's like, well, we can't call her that. That's ridiculous. And Charlotte's holding her and she's like, who's the most beautiful girl in the world? Elizabeth Taylor. And Harry's face, the acting, he's like,
it's so good.
Yeah, he gasps and he's like, yes, Elizabeth Taylor. Hello, Elizabeth Taylor Goldenblatt.
Oh, it's so good. It's so perfect. I love it. I know. And I'm just so happy that Charlotte has a happy ending this episode. I knew that this was going to happen at the end of the episode, but I was still just the whole time you feel so sad for Charlotte. And then you're seeing her so happy. You're like, oh, she has her Elizabeth Taylor. It's amazing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, doesn't Charlotte have a dog called Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah.
But she does. And this is how she gets it. It's just given to her.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
And so that's Charlotte's story for the week. And then we go back to Carrie, and she has another mouse in her house.
Yes.
Mouse in her house. She's in bed, like sleeping, and the mouse is like by her head, and it wakes her up. And oh no, I read my notes. I love that she wakes up screaming, and
Oh.
I forgot the S. She wakes up screaming, not creaming. So then the Russian comes over, and so Petrovsky sets up traps for it, and this is where they finally resolve their whole dumbass story. And
Yeah.
I do like this moment for Carrie, because I just love the way she talks about Samantha here, because she's like, look, like, you don't understand. Samantha's not just my friend. She's my family. She's my insides. And she has to be fine, because if she's not, that's like my everything to me. And that's why this matters so much to me, that you can't suggest that she could die, because like,
yeah, like it's incomprehensible to her, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I love the way she talks about it too. It's like, oh yeah, you love her. It's good.
Yeah.
And Petrovsky, he says what we were talking about earlier, that he says that when his friend Sophie died, it caught him off guard. He doesn't want the same thing to happen to Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie understands where he's coming from. And she's also finally, for the first time, she's like, oh, I'm sorry about Sophie.
Yeah. Because we don't even know how long ago this happened. We're not,
No.
like, he could have been like, yeah, this happened like last year.
Yeah.
And I'm still really broken up about it. But the whole time, she's just like, it's in the past, so your thing doesn't matter at all.
Your thing doesn't matter as much as my thing.
Yeah, and it's like, it's true that Samantha is still alive, and like, it's a different situation, but it's like, she doesn't know the details, so it's very ridiculous. But, and then she brings it back to the espresso thing, and she's like, I need my relationship with a little bit of milk. Like,
do you get it?
Do you get it?
I get it.
It can't be too bitter. And then her voiceover is like, for the first time in our relationship, we were speaking the same language. And I'm like, oh, fuck off.
I'm like, this man is like trilingual. Fuck you.
Yeah, like, this man speaks at least 3 languages. He probably speaks more. Like, let's be real. What are the odds that this man does not speak German? Like, pretty low. But yeah, anyway, that's the second last scene. The last scene, the girls are out for these like fancy drinks, and like 2 of them are wearing like the fancy fashion gloves that are very cute. And I'm like, I want to wear these. They're very good.
I love it. Yeah, I have like opera gloves.
Yeah.
I guess, but they're not quite opera length, but they're like up to my elbows, and I should wear them more. I remember once, you know, like Carrie's wearing these like net gloves. I remember once I like begged my mother when we were at some museum to buy me lace gloves like those, and she did, and I would just wear them around my room. Like,
they're so good. They're so pretty.
I just like would just wear like neck gloves around my room. It's like, you know, I'm a little Victorian woman. They're fucking great.
Like, especially when they're black, like Carrie's, they're just like goth as shit, and like I love them. I want them.
Me too. I'm looking now on like I googled like neck gloves, and they're all like raver ones. That's not what I want. I want delicate little Victorian lady gloves.
Yes, exactly. That's what I want. Like, I already own like fingerless gloves, so I already have just like gloves for when I want to be like that
edgy?
kind of goth. Yeah. When I want to be
I want to be a specific kind of goth. Okay.
Yeah, then you need to have gloves for different occasions. There's different goth aesthetics.
Yes, I wish I still had those gloves though. They were like navy and they were gorgeous. And can you imagine if I wore them right now?
Unstoppable.
It'd be too powerful. I guess that's why I don't have them anymore. But she's wearing these gloves and they're having little cocktails. And also Samantha is wearing this like gorgeous Dior headscarf, and it's all like diamante.
Yeah.
And like, why not wear that to the fucking premiere? And she's wearing this black dress. They're all wearing black. So like a gorgeous headscarf with like a black dress would look very like glamorous. Very you know, Sunset Boulevard. Oh, like a little turban with a jewel in it.
Yeah, like, this is very pretty.
Yeah.
So, they all look very nice at this restaurant. They're just
They
like
look
done up.
gorgeous. Yeah, and they're talking, and like Miranda's talking about how she moved to Brooklyn, and she's like, "Oh, you guys will come up and see." And Samantha said, "I can't because I have cancer," which is a great way to get out stuff if you actually do have cancer. And
yeah, Miranda being like, "How long are you gonna play the cancer card for?"
as long as she fucking has cancer, I think. I think she can pull that card. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just cute. And she's saying that like she's trying to soak up as much as she can before she has to move. Like as much. They're like, oh, cosmopolitan ladies. Oh no, they want Manhattans, don't they? And she's like,
I think they do. Yeah, because she has to like literally drink the metaphor.
Drink it in.
Yeah.
I hate it. Can we go to rankings?
Yeah, let's go to rankings. Well, Carrie's at the bottom.
Yeah, like even though I guess she's like technically valid.
Yeah,
she does a lot of shit, which I'm like the questionable at least.
I feel like I don't think she was like not valid this week because I do feel like she makes good points about why Petrovsky is like not understanding her feelings.
Yeah,
but I just feel like the other girls had more intriguing stories this week.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I feel like Samantha's my top.
Yeah, Samantha kind of like stunts a bit. Oh my god, I googled Victorian gloves and you can buy mini gloves for your little Victorian like porcelain dolls, like the ones I used to have.
Oh my god.
They used to wear little white leather gloves like that. I kind of want to get those.
Oh, that's amazing.
Do you think? Okay, so I'm thinking about. Sorry, I'm completely derailing this, but I'm thinking about moving. Like, I'll probably be moving in the next couple months. And what if I had like a Victorian porcelain doll, just like in my flat? Would that?
I think that could be extremely aesthetic of your place. Like, I feel like that could potentially just be like a really cool piece of your apartment to me.
I feel like it would be kind of fun. And I'm also thinking about getting like one of those Barbie busts that like you do the makeup and the hair on and just having it like I think I'm gonna live in like in a weird place. But it's what I want, okay?
Yeah, I love it. I think this is good shit. Like that's a dream apartment to me.
I want to terrify men. So
good.
Yes.
You should.
Yeah, Carrie's the bottom, and then what do you say, Miranda?
Okay. No, Samantha to me is at the top because I feel like I don't know, just like this whole week, like she was vulnerable with Smith. Her and Smith were just good together. The wig was good, like everything was good, and I don't know, she's just was the star of this episode to me.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna say Charlotte just because I don't know. Her whole story at this point kind of just like tugs at me, and I'm like, I'm happy that she had a really happy ending at the end of this episode. And then Miranda, because I'm like, okay, I don't care about Steve, but I just feel like I'm happy for you for like where you're at in this story, and that you're like willing to finally leave Manhattan to like, I don't know, care about the other things in your life.
Yeah, care about your family. Like you did get married and you do have a child, so
yeah, and I think that's nice. And then Carrie, like I don't think Carrie was bad this episode, but it doesn't intrigue me because I don't give a shit about her and the Russian, and so it's kind of just like it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I agree. Like that's the same for me. It's just like, okay.
Well, that's our ranking. So I guess we can do questions now. We have 2 questions today on Tumblr. If you want to send us questions, send them to citygirlsmakedo.tumblr.com/ask. Our first one is from friend of the show, Siberian Pine, who's asking, what's the difference between Manhattan and Brooklyn? Wrong answers only.
One has an N in it.
Manhattan's where you go when you need a hat.
Man
or a man. Yeah. Brooklyn is God, I can't even be funny about this. I literally don't know. I've been to Manhattan and Brooklyn, and I just am like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like if I'm gonna compare it to like London, where people are like south of like, because people used to be funny about going like south of the river, as they would say, when which like why would you say south of the river? That's just south.
That is weird.
But that's just what south is.
That is what south is. The thing, so one of them is, believe it or not, one of them is more south than the other one, but it's literally impossible for us to know which one it is.
That's true.
Scientists haven't figured it out.
The issue is like, I do have a map in my mind of the 5 boroughs of New York, and I'm like pretty sure I know that Brooklyn, I think I know where Brooklyn is. Like, if you gave me a map, I feel like I would give you like 90% accurate, because
you could never be sure though. It's impossible to know for sure.
Who can ever really be sure? But I did play a lot of that Spider-Man game, and that's in Manhattan, and like
gotcha.
Each of the little like the districts and shit is labeled when you're there on the map.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's where Hell's Kitchen is.
The very first, well, I've only been in New York once, but like when I went to New York, I was like, this is where everything is. Okay. That's not what I was imagining.
I'm sort of like, oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I'm, it's like, what is it, like Tribeca, and it's like the tri above this thing of, like, if you look at like why different parts of New York are named after that, it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense, but also, I don't know, stupid.
It's stupid.
It's stupid.
I think the most interesting thing about New York is that Manhattan and Brooklyn are actually both not real.
No, they exist in an astral plane. People are lying. Americans are lying to you. It's fake news.
It's just a vessel for fiction. Like, that's why there's so many TV shows set there, so they don't have to come up with a real place that everybody knows. It's like Anne of Green Gables and Prince Edward Island. Like, it's not real. It's invented for fiction. And then everyone just is like, oh, that place, but it's not real. You just think it is because you've seen it in fiction so much. So
yeah, it's like in New York, like yeah, it's like all of England.
Yeah,
it's not real.
It's weird how you have to take a boat from Scotland to Wales.
Yeah, it's weird how like England doesn't and shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you for the question. Hopefully that helps you know some information about Manhattan and Brooklyn that you didn't know before.
Yeah. We helped.
Your second question is from friend of the show, 2x2 Furious, who asked, what would you want a wig named after you to look like?
Wig?
Yeah.
Wig. I mean, I guess the obvious one is like literally just my hair. Like literally just our hair, because our hair is kind of iconic enough that it could exist as wigs, because like I have very like dark curly hair and it's like big, and then you have like your red long hair with like blunt, well, I mean, now you have a mullet, which is
this is true.
powerful.
I do have a mullet now, and I've got like I feel like even before I was like, COVID, time to shave the sides of my head and have a mullet, I was like, oh well, I've pretty much my entire life had the like straight bangs look always. Yeah. It's very rare for me to not have that going on. So, I feel like just one that looks like my hair would be the thing. Although, like, I will say, whenever I do like pickaroos or just like doll makers in general, I do always make my hair longer and bigger than it normally is. Like, I just like the idealized version of myself has hair that's like twice as long as it is now and like twice as thick, and it's just like really wavy and like unruly. Yeah. So I would like my hair to be the same as it is now, but like that. So
yeah, I feel like same for me. Like I would probably maybe just have like my hair, but like huger. Like, you know, like how drag queen wigs are like 2 wigs stacked on top of each other a lot of the time.
Under a trench coat, yeah.
Exactly. It's like that's what I would want my ideal hair to look like. So I think that's what my wig would look like. Like if I was gonna do like a Raquel Welch like celebrity wig line, I would have Alex #1, which would just be my hair like bigger, and maybe like a nice little highlight in it or something. And then I would have maybe Alex #2, which would be just like a Morticia, like long black and straight, but goes down to the floor.
Yes, extremely good.
Yeah,
I love that.
Like Morticia meets Cousin It.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good shit. I love it. So thank you for the questions. Definitely send us questions for the next few episodes, because we only have like I think 4 episodes left after this before we get to the movies. So yeah, keep them coming. Send us Steve voices too. Like we haven't had a Steve voice in a long time, and like I know Steve is just in the episodes more now, so like there's plenty of chances to like just do it naturally. But you know, you want to submit a Steve voice that's like that one specific thing.
You know you wanna. Yeah. You know you want to make you want to make Stephanie say like horrible things.
Yeah. You know you want to. But so okay, so that brings us to Patreon, because of course, you know, that's part of the Patreon tiers. So at the $1 level you can be a haymower. And you get a special Discord role. You get access to our bonus content. We just put out Bill and Ted 2 last week, so that's our newest one. That's our July Keanu. And then we're doing those every month. You also get access to the secret Discord channel of Looker and Nanu pics that no one else gets to see, and they're very good. They're handsome boys. And then at the $5 level, you get all the $1 things. You also get an even specialer Discord role. You get a shout out on the podcast every week, and you get to submit stuff for Steve voice. And at the $10 level, you get all the previous stuff, plus you also can listen to us live every week if you like to. Plus you get an even specialer Discord role, and you could be like one of only 2 people to have that color in our server, which I think is neat. Personally, it's like, ooh, look how exclusive you are.
Unique. So, you know you need fuck, I should be able to do that. You know you need unique New York. Yes. That's a tongue twister. So all of our $5 Not patrons are Alex Schaup, Summer Geist, Jennifer Snyder, Matt Ribeiro, Jess Ayalachi, and Siberian Pine Hardwood. So thank you all so much, and to all our other donors, and also thank you to everyone else as well. We're just happy that you listen. So I don't know why I said it like that. We are. No, we're happy you're here. If you want to give us some money, then that's great, but we're just happy that you're listening and you're enjoying our show.
Yep, pretty much.
And I just found some lace gloves for £10.
You could spend your Patreon money on that next month. I can. You already spent this month.
I've already spent this month. I bought a strap.
You're so valid. You're so valid. That's like the best way you can spend Patreon money. I didn't like deliberately spend my Patreon money on this, but I did receive the fangs I ordered in the mail today. So like I'm excited to try them on. But yeah, it lets us do these little purchases. Like you wouldn't have a strap if we didn't have a Patreon. So like you are bringing joy into our lives.
Listen, eventually I will either be pegging someone or giving them that good, or they can give me that good. Like, it's a practical, I feel like it's an essential. I feel like it's a necessity for me to have, and like, it was on sale, so yeah, I got it. You know?
So if you give us Patreon money, then next month Alex can buy Victorian gloves. So
I can still buy. I can buy them now.
Well, don't tell them that, because then they won't donate.
Buy these gloves.
Well, okay. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode.
Emotionally blackmailing our listeners into buying me Victorian gloves and a fucking porcelain doll to scare men in my house.
These are just essentials. I don't know what the problem with that is. It's like stealing bread to save your family, to feed your family. It's the Jean Valjean
of buying a strap. I need a strap. I need a porcelain doll, and I need Victorian gloves and a Barbie bust. It's a necessity.
Yes, this is why they were all so sad in France in that movie. So
because they didn't have straps or little fucking dainty gloves.
Yes.
Ooh, they have fun earrings too. Okay.
Well, well, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and so long and good night. And fuck cops.
Fuck cops. Blue lives don't matter unless you're a cookie monster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
nope, that's it.
That's it. For the girls and the gays and Cookie Monster, that's it.
Exactly. Bye. Bye. Kiss Kiana Square on the lips.
Mwah.